What's going on, everyone? We are back in the shop today, and we finally have the Ford in the garage. She's in here with all of her beautiful glory, that nice patina that we're looking for, but today we have a special project on our hands, and projects like these make me wonder why I even got into cars. However, that's not going to stop me from making shit happen. So, on the floor, as you can see, I have my wiring harness from the 2500 Ram spread across the floor, and in today's video, we are going to be making a custom harness for the Cummins swap in the 51 Ford. And yes, I said 51 because I was informed that this is not a 50, it is a 51. You can tell by the grille, that was a 51 and 52 year only, and I don't know if it's a 5-star cab or not. I'm still learning some stuff, but I did also buy a hood for this unit. That was expensive, to say the least. But we still have a lot of parts to get, but that's not going to get in the way of me finding cheap and easy projects to do in the time being. So, right now, we're going to get ready to head out to Summit, and I'm going to take you guys along for that drive, and then whenever we get back, we're going to start ripping it in the harness. So I'll catch you guys in the car. Well guys, we're in the car, and we're probably about halfway to Summit right now, somewhere in that area. I just passed under the exit for 76 off of 80. We are going to the Talmadge location because that is the one that I live close to. I guess I'll see you guys when I get there. So hang in there and we'll be at Summit in no time. Well guys, we finally made it to Summit. About an hour and a half drive, no big deal. You can see the sign there in the background that is on the side, but let's head inside. Classic Summit thing. Got the cars on the spinny wheel.
I bought 4 shirts.
Gotta get in line. Picked everything up. Set one out. Excuse me. Well, we are back in the car, and I have to say that was an eventful trip. Well, no, it wasn't. It was a successful trip. That's the word I was looking for. But we got our wire loom sitting over here. Ridiculously expensive for absolutely no reason. I spent $135 on wire loom, so that's really cool. But that's just a start, so we got plenty more money to dump into this project. But for now, we're gonna head back to the house and we're gonna start ripping that harness apart, and we're gonna start rewrapping everything the way that I want it and remove the wires we don't need. So let's get to it. Alright guys, so the first thing that we're going to be doing is taking the power distribution box and splitting it apart just so I can get a good idea of what wires are in there, and then I'm going to be following some diagrams to basically eliminate the unnecessary wires like air conditioning, probably airbags, horn, heat, radio, power windows, etc. So that's what I'm going to be doing real quick. We're going to get you set up on the tripod somehow and point it down at the distribution box, and then from there we're going to split it apart, have a gander, and see what we're working with. Alright, so on your power distribution box you have these tabs that run the whole way around the unit. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to take these tabs and pop them off, and then this back piece should come off, revealing where all of the wires go to each of our individual circuits and relays. So we're going to go ahead and start popping these apart. Okay, and just like that, we now have revealed all of our wires in the bottom of the power distribution box. And as you can see, Dodge doesn't do a very good job of keeping these nice and organized for us. So we're gonna have to figure out what everything is, but that's where the diagrams come into play, which I have on my phone. I would like to print them out, but I don't have any printer ink at the moment, so that is not an option. However, we're going to get started on deciphering which wires are which, and then from there, we're gonna start snipping and pulling them out of the harness, as well as relooming the entire harness with this DEI kit. I bought this one because it was cheaper than the painless kit, and actually came with basically the exact same stuff. So right now we're just removing all the electrical tape off of the loom so that I can go ahead and separate the loom from the actual wiring harness and really get a good look at all the wires so that I can trace the ones, just to double check and verify that we're not going to cut any essential wires, because like I've said before, this would really suck if I start cutting wires in the very first startup. I go to hit the key and it just doesn't start because I cut the wrong wires. That's kind of my biggest fear right now. But I think we should be okay as long as we do this diligently and we make sure to verify everything before cutting anything. Alright, so I've spent probably close to 4 hours doing this now, and I only have like 15 wires pulled out of the harness, but that's mostly because I couldn't find the information that I was looking for. So I finally made a post on one of the second gen pages on Facebook, and some guy decided that he was going to link me to a service manual, which I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but it gives a full pin out of the connector, which would be this this connector here. Junction block, that would be the junction block there, and it gives a full code of what the circuit is, and then I have to switch back to this, and this will decipher my circuit code for me. So I finally found that, and now I'm making pretty good headway on it, but I don't think it's quite going to be where I wanted it at. So right now I'm just trying to pull all the wires out that I'm depinning from the junction block connector, and kind of just making slow but steady progress with that until I get the harness to where I want it. The hardest part about this is probably finding where the wire is inside of the mass of connectors and wires that I have here, which kind of sucks, but once you find it, you just pull it on through, and then we get back to the power distribution center here, and then I find where it is, wherever it runs to, and then I pull it out of that connector and depin that one as well. So we have just no possibility of a spark or anything of the sort. Okay, and once I locate the connector, so this one is going to be this pin right here. I'm going to bend it a little bit just so I remember which one it is. Then I have to go in here and try to get that over. And I forgot my pliers over here. I'll get my pliers out. And I just basically try to shove it through. Once I get it moved, then I can go to the back side, find the wire again, and pull it on out. Now I just repeat that about 9,000 times until I get the harness down to the size that I want it. Then I can finally take my wire loom, which is probably going to happen tomorrow, and go from there. And then thankfully I only have 3 more harnesses to do after this one, so that's pretty sweet. But yeah, let's keep going. Well guys, we got the harness completely stripped of all the useless and unnecessary wires that we didn't need to have in here anymore, so I have been going ahead and just covering it with the nice braided nylon wire loom that I went and bought from Summit. I just kind of wanted to show you guys that process in case any of you were curious. So basically all that I'm doing right now is just going through and cutting off all of the zip ties that I put on originally to hold the harness in place, and replacing those with electrical tape so that whenever I put the loom over top of it, I don't have any kind of unnecessary bulges. I don't want any cancer in my wires. So we're just going to go ahead and tape that up a little bit and get rid of all that ugliness. And after you get the tape on it, I already went ahead and cut this piece of loom for this, so I'm hoping that it just goes over really nicely. Now they do give you some tools with this, however they don't give you a big enough tool for the 1-inch wire loom, which I found kind of weird, but no big deal. It's not that difficult to put on. It's just rolled up, so you just stretch it out basically, and then fit it over top of your wire however you want to do that, and then from there you just work your way down. And just like that, it is covered. So then what you're going to want to do at that point is you're going to take your tape, more electrical tape, and I don't like to use the whole roll, so I just rip a couple pieces off and go from there. But I do like to try to wrap the tape the same direction that the loom is going to be going, just to kind of like pull it tighter in a way. Now you got to be careful because it doesn't quite stick to the nylon until you get a layer of tape around it, and then you're able to stick the tape to the tape. So you just got to get that worked around there. And then after that, we're just going to go ahead and wrap that up. Now that I have it started, I probably will grab the actual roll of tape and just continue rolling it from there with the roll, just so I don't have to keep ripping pieces off of it. But I like to go ahead and wrap up the other spots. Just kind of get that tape in there real nice like. Basically what I'm shooting for here is an OE style harness with an updated look. Okay, and now that that is taped, I'm then going to take a couple little zip ties. These are, I think, 7 or 8 inch zip ties. And I'm just going to work my way down the loom just to continue to further hold it in place just a little bit better than what it was. Now, I do try to do these the direction of the loom, once again, same as the tape. I did that one backwards. I had it right the first time. But that's okay. And then don't forget to trim your tails off. And then we're just going to work our way down. And now, guys, all this tape is doing here is just holding the wires together. So that's why I keep ripping off small pieces, because I don't really need a whole lot of it in these areas like this. And that's pretty much all that there is to it, guys. You just got to work your way down it and continue to loom up everything around there. Well, that harness is completed, finally, because it is 2:34 in the morning and I'm ready for bed. I'm so freaking tired. I don't even know why I stayed out here this long to do this, but I wanted to get it done. I guess that's why I stayed out here to do it. But I gotta show you guys the end result. So like I've said before, I mean, I think that looks a hell of a lot better than all of this dirty plastic OE style loom. Not really a fan of that. That looks way better. So we're going to continue where we left off tomorrow. I will be back here at some point. I'm not entirely sure whenever I'm going to wake up. So I guess we'll see you guys tomorrow. Well, guys, this has been about a 3-day process so far for the harnesses, and that is because I've done one harness each day. So this is going to be the 3rd day that I'm doing this, and I am tackling the longest harness right now. So this is the one that runs from under the front of the cab the whole way back to the taillights and everything in between. It has the trailer wiring on it as well. So basically, I just want to show you guys where we're at with that right now. So again, this is the longest harness out of the entire truck. Here's my pile of wires that I have removed from the other harnesses so far, and it is growing by the day. But like I said, this harness stretches the whole way over to there, and that would be tail lights over there, and then that would be the trailer plug. These are the other 2 harnesses that I've made so far. This one is for the PCM. This one is for the power distribution center, and it connects to everything else as well. I also need to pull the engine harness off of the engine still. Like I said, you guys can see how just nasty this harness is. I mean, I touch it, my fingers turn black because of all the oil that it has all over it, but that's not a problem. I'm gonna get that taken care of. We're gonna get it laid down with that nice nylon wrap, and it's gonna look freaking sweet whenever we're done. You guys aren't gonna wanna miss that. But hopefully, when the next time you see me, I'm gonna have this long harness done and the engine harness pulled, or maybe I'll make part of this video on pulling the engine harness as well. But that's gonna take this up for now, so I guess I'll see you guys in a little bit. Well, guys, that is going to wrap up today's video, and I really thank you all for watching. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you learned something from today's video, because I, like I've said before, am here to teach you guys how to do things that I do, even though I don't really know what I'm doing. But that's besides the point. We're not here to talk about that. But just a couple things for the future. I am planning to get the axles under the 2500 frame. I'm hoping within the next week or 2, but I've had some unexpected things happen to me. I'm sure that if you guys watch any of my short videos, you saw that I bought a Mark IV Volkswagen Jetta with the TDI diesel engine in it. It has the 1.9 liter ALH TDI. And the second day after I bought the car, it decided to blow up on me. So now I'm making a short series on the rebuild on that, which I actually have a long video coming on that as well, so stay tuned for that. I'm sure that if you guys have seen it, you saw some bad news out of that car, but that's no big deal. That's besides the point. I'm just bringing that up because I want to clarify that that is taking up a lot of my time right now. On top of dealing with the truck as well as the Subaru and everything else, I just have so much on my plate, and I work a full-time job, so this is really difficult for me, but I'm not gonna let that stop me from bringing you guys sweet videos on things that I do in my garage in my free time that I have. So like I said, guys, I want to thank you all for watching today's video. It means the world to me. I really hope that you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, drop them in a comment below. Don't forget to smash the like button, and please subscribe for more content, just like this video that we have today, because there's going to be plenty more where that came from. So with that being said, thank you all for watching. We'll see you on the next one.